Breaking news, Golden State Warriors star Jimmy Butler has suffered a season-ending torn ACL, sources tell ESPN versus the Miami Heat. Let's get into the video.
We're going to start to talk. We got breaking news here on SportsCenter this morning from the NBA. ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania joining us bright and early on SportsCenter AM. Shams, Jimmy Butler going down against the Heat last night. What more can you tell us there?
Randy, sources tell me Jimmy Butler has been diagnosed with a season-ending torn ACL. His season is over. He faces a recovery timetable of really the next calendar year, and this shatters the hopes that the Warriors had this season of contending for a championship around Stephen Curry. The Warriors had been playing their best basketball of the season, 4 straight wins, 12 of their last 16, and Jimmy Butler, since he arrived in Golden State, has lifted this team to having a chance in the Western Conference. They have a 676 win percentage since he joined the Warriors last February, and even this season, he's at his one of his most efficient seasons in the NBA. One of 4 players that have 20 points per game or more, an assist-to-turnover ratio of 3 or more, joining Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jamal Murray. And so he's turning 37 this summer. He faces a lengthy recovery, so a lot of questions about his future. But for the immediate future of the Warriors, this really puts a dent in their chances to compete for a champion.
I wish Jimmy Butler a speedy recovery. Obviously, he left the Miami Heat on a bad note. However, you never want to see a guy go down like that. Jimmy Butler is a competitor. He's a warrior. And at the end of the day, he made the Golden State Warriors better. Now, this is a very big stretch, and I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying he's asking for a trade. I'm not saying any of this can happen. But will Stephen Curry ask out? Because remember, now that Jimmy Butler's done, he's done for the season. He's not going to come back next season. Think about it. Jimmy Butler has had minor injuries. This is his first major injury, and he misses time. He's going to miss the entire season coming up. He's going to be out all of next season. He's out. So that means that you have $60 million this year of dead cap, and then you're going into the next season, $60 million of dead cap. He's 36 years old this season. Next year, he's going to be 37. By the time his contract is done, he's 38 years old. How are the Golden State Warriors going to do that? How are they going to make that work? Also, too, you can't even buy Jimmy Butler out because you know he wants all his money. Why do you think he went to the Golden State Warriors to begin with? For the money. So now the Golden State Warriors have a lot to think about because you think that Draymond Green is going to be helping Stephen Curry while Jimmy's out? Yeah, okay. They don't play Kuminga. So the Golden State Warriors are pretty much screwed. And remember, Stephen Curry made it clear. He's like Giannis. He wants to win. He doesn't want to be on this team if he's not winning. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Will Stephen Curry ask for a trade, especially within his last few seasons with the Golden State Warriors? This is going to be huge. And he's even on an expiring deal this year. With Stephen Curry being an unrestricted free agent next season, the Golden State Warriors, they have a lot to think about. Would they want Wiggins back this season? Are they going to tank? There's a lot of different directions that the Golden State Warriors can go, but then at the same time, they're very limited because they have $60 million of dead cap. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but don't be surprised if you hear rumors about Stephen Curry possibly leaving the Golden State Warriors. And if I'm the Miami Heat, I'm all over that. So once again, we have Giannis double talking. I told you guys, he wants to leave. I told you. They asked him a question on how confident is he about finishing the season with Milwaukee, and he has the nerve to say, I don't know. I'll take it day by day. That's what I mean by the double talking. Because if he was going to stand 10 toes down in Milwaukee, he was going to say, listen, I am committed to the team. I'm not going anywhere, and stop asking me that question.
Teams are holding off on their trade moves to see what happens with you, Giannis. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, can't control that. I can't control what other teams do, man. I just try to focus on my job, which is go out there, compete, and try to win games.
Last week, it felt like a turning point when the fans in Milwaukee booed you and you booed them back. How did that moment feel in your heart?
It felt great. I don't know, for some reason I enjoy being the villain this year.
Even with your own fans?
It doesn't really matter with everybody. It doesn't matter. It just makes my motor go more. You know, it makes me hungry when I play. It just makes me compete more. It doesn't matter. I just love playing basketball, and anything that can kind of spark my fire in me, I love it.
How confident are you you'll finish the season with the Bucks?
I don't know. I take it day by day.
That's the thing. 1 minute Giannis is saying he wants to stay. 1 minute he doesn't know. That is why multiple NBA teams right now are waiting to see if Giannis will ask out. They're not going to give up their assets for marginal moves when Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to ask for a trade. Now, we're just trying to figure out, because there's roughly, 16 days left until the trade deadline. So it's either going to be now or it's either going to be next year. But I don't understand what Giannis is really waiting on. You can clearly see he's not happy in Milwaukee. He even said it. I'm okay being the villain. So to be honest, I don't even understand why he's trying to save face. He just told us, I'm okay with being the villain. I'm okay if the home fans boo me. I'm okay if the away fans boo me. Everyone getting the smoke. And I understand why the Miami Heat are waiting for Giannis Antetokounmpo, but I can't do that back and forth nonsense. And Kevin O'Connor is definitely right that the Miami Heat is a perfect situation for John Morant. Let's get into the video.
Risk, but I have a hard time coming up with other teams, Kevin, that like legitimately make sense for Ja as a team that can afford to take the risk.
Yeah, it's a team like the Kings where it's like, screw it, why not?
Whatever.
26 years old. We'll take a swing. We might miss. So what? Let's just try to get a star in our organization and see what happens. But I do think Miami is probably the team that would rank first of makes sense for situation with what their needs are. And plus, Spoelstra has run a bit more pick and rolls the last month or so, as Nekias Duncan outlined recently over on the dunker spot. So I think, Spoelstra is going to run a little bit of a hybrid system with their, no screens, the movement and the cutting, the Noah LaRoche offense, and with more traditional pick and roll. The one thing I will say about Miami is I have heard the Grizzlies don't want Tyler Hero, so it would have to be some type of other deal involving Miami. Or Hero would have to go to a third team, I would think. But we'll see. If Ja continues playing and continues having big games, I think you'll see more teams have interest. What's your thoughts on Ja after that game in London?
With how inconsistent this Miami Heat team is, they could never say no to talent, especially in John Morant at 26 years old. And Kevin O'Connor is right. This Miami Heat team has room to take all the risk. The Miami Heat have gauged the market around the league for forward Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins on having his best three-point shooting season of his career. That's why the price went up. Nobody could tell me that Andrew Wiggins is not worth a first-round pick, especially a 3-and-D athletic wing. He said, I don't even know what I'm shooting. It's just preparations, putting myself in positions to do what I can do for my teammates. We're all looking out for each other. We're all in a great rhythm. If it's Golden State, if it's the Lakers, we're starting off at 1 first-round pick. No ifs, ands, or buts. And to be honest, depending on where this Miami Heat team falls within the bracket, you guys might even be able to get Powell for a first-round pick so we can get 2 first-round picks. Once again, I'm open to everything as long as we're leaning young, as long as we're leaning into Casper's and Khalil Ware and all these young guys that we have and building them up to see if we're going to keep them, trade them. We have to figure out this roster. I mean, look, Tyler Hero, he's even out with an injury. His MRI came back. It's not a major rib injury, but he's going to miss some time. So there's a lot of things that the Miami Heat have to think about. Let's go Heat.